Happy occasion for myself, and for me anyway. I'll not speak for Gillian, let her speak for herself. I suppose Gillian has done a number of receptions all through the year. It's been marvellous in terms of recognising the hard work and indeed the commitment that voluntary and community organisations and indeed individuals have given to this new council area, which stretches from Strangford Lough right down to Carringford Lough along the border. I suppose tonight's reception is close to Gillian because she's two groups that are very important to her. The Mayobridge Band, who I know she talks about incessantly, so she's the biggest advocate and promoter of the Mayobridge Band, and also for the photographers who have been so good to her this year, and indeed I know have worked very well with her. I know she's not a very hard woman, very photogenic, gorgeous woman. She's very easy to photograph. You know, it's been an easy job for the boys, but all through the boys have been very, very good to us. But listen, folks, it's with sadness for me that I asked Gillian on our last function to address you and say a few words. And I hope you have a great night. I'm only coming from Downpatrick now, so I'm going to leave you in the good hands of Gillian and the girls from Democratic Services. But listen, I hope you have a lovely night and enjoy yourselves. And I know the night is very special for Gillian. So I give you the chairman of council.
So yes, I'm delighted. When I realised this year that Mayobridge Band was 40 years, I thought, no, well, in my tenure I'd have to do something. So I said it to Seamus a while back, and then we managed to get it fitted in for tonight, and I'm just delighted. But this is my last night, and to stand here and be here with friends and neighbours and people that live over the road, as I always say. So anybody in a 15-mile radius of me is my neighbour. So that's why we were brought up. Liam's actually my neighbour from home, okay? And he is about 6 miles. He's down the mountain, over the hill and back up the other side of the mountain. So that we literally live in the same parish, but it's a couple of miles apart. So Mayobridge Band was a brainchild of John Lively, an ordinary family man who just loved music. Fortunately, John didn't live to see the great success of the band. Had become as he died only 18 months after the band had started. But he played his part in getting the band off the ground, and as early committees took over the mantle, and with the great hard work and determination of Mayobridge Band, it was formed in August 1977 and paraded for the very first time on the 20th of May 1978 from the chapel to the community centre at Mayobridge. And we do have photographs of that, and it's seen quite often in the Mayobridge history photographs. And the rest, as they say, is history. Over the last 4 decades, the band has grown and succeeded. Brothers have come and gone. And this has been down to many men, women and young people who have freely given their time and their talent to the band. In the last 40 years, Mayobridge Band have won 8 All-Irelands, 1 European title, and performed for the Irish President and the Irish Government, as well as visits to the UK, the Isle of Man and Canada. The current band work as a parade band and have a massive name for themselves, performing at the Rose of Tralee, the Maiden of Mourne, the Down Football Final, Fiddler's Green, and various festivals around Ireland, and especially on the Mayobridge pitch. Indeed, this year they were invited to lead the St Patrick's Day Parade in London. What an honour for us all as a community, but also for yourselves. This was not only for the band's hard-working committee and behind-the-scenes workers, but yes, as I've said, for the village of Mayobridge and for the whole district of Newrybourne and Down. Without a doubt, you are the best known band. I don't have to tell people about you, just because I'm lucky enough to come from Mayobridge. It's just the added bonus that I have, that I can quite freely speak of you as being our band, and I'm so proud to do that. And I am so filled with pride when I see you and the audiences talk about you, and you get so many retweets and you get so many views on everything that you do. Is just fantastic. And it was so brilliant for me to be in Strangford last year with you at the Strangford Festival. I just felt so proud, Frank. These are my guys. And I was the chair, and it was just so fantastic. So yes, I'm tagging all these there, but I'm just so proud of it. Okay. There's so many people that have worked hard to ensure Mayobridge Band is going strong. As we gather here to celebrate your 40th anniversary, I'd like to thank in particular the band committee led by the chairperson, Mrs. Colleen McPollan, and the musical director and the very talented Mrs. Eunice Downey. Thank you. It's an honour and privilege for me to be here to host you. And you know, I just didn't hear about Mayobridge Band when I came to Mayobridge. I knew about it long before that, because a very good friend of mine that I went to school with met Ben Lively one night. introduction to Mayobridge Band, and I think very shortly after that summer he went to the Isle of Man. And so we knew all about those antics and stuff as well. So I knew about the Mayobridge Band long before then, that because he's married to Tracy, who lives at the bottom of my road, and then I obviously met Eamon, and as the rest, as you say, is history. So we are where we are here. In addition to that, I just want to say that yes, the guys in the back of the room are photographers. They're not all here because some of them have still commitments and stuff tonight. But I wanted to say a very, very special thank you to all the photographers. I would say anybody read any paper in this entire district over the last year have seen my face in it. And I have these guys to thank, amongst other guys that are not here. My photographs have been taken so well, so brilliantly, and so up for the crack. Yes, Liam says it's probably easy to take my photograph because I don't really mind, and I got used to it after a while. But I wouldn't have had the coverage without these guys, and I am truly thankful for that. Like yourselves, when you get your photograph and you get yourselves talked about and people talk about you, it is from press coverage. And I know we do social media and stuff, but it is from press coverage because not everybody does social media, and quite a lot of people do like to lift the paper and read it. And even though that I'm a social media addict, as people will know, I still buy the papers. And I know my late mother-in-law, Molly, as everybody knows her, loved getting the paper every week, whether or not that was the Cross-Examiner, which I would have been on a regular basis, and she would have got the Democrat, and she would have got the Reporter, and then if I was in the Morning Observer and the Outlook and the Down Recorder, I would have bought her those as well, and then she would have cut them all out. So up until Molly died, I had quite a number of photographs that she had kept for me, and the children have since cut out pages. They don't cut out photographs like Molly did. They just cut the pages out. So it'll take me some time, and maybe I'll have to wait till I have grandchildren to be bothered to cut them all out properly. But she did them properly and put them all in folders for me for every month. She initially started as weeks and she did it for every month. So for that I'm eternally grateful to her because she was an amazing woman and she loved the band as well. Even though we're both Armagh people, we just loved our band. And we're very proud of the band. And well, that's all I have to say, and I'm going to ask Seamus Lively to come up now and say a few words. Okay, so.
Thank you, Gillian. Madam Chairperson, distinguished guests throughout the room. I've got the odious task of trying to do 40 years of events and history of the band in 10 minutes, so I'm going to do my best here. But as Gillian said, Mayobridge Band, the whole idea of it rattled around my father's head for 2 years, and in the summer of '77 he got my brother to go and have a chat with the late great Jerry Quinn. And Jerry, being Jerry, put it in the Bridge Bulletin, get a meeting together and see how many people would be interested in starting a band in the Bridge. To a lot of people's surprise, 17 people turned up. And that meeting, they had a long discussion and they decided to have start a committee on that night. And I have the names of the people who actually started this whole organisation in front of me. I just want to go through them briefly. The first man appointed was Father McAlevey, and he was the president of the presidency and president of the committee. And Father McAlevey's claim to fame was that he picked the colours of the uniform. Originally the uniform was supposed to be white and blue. That was to match the football team. But Father McAlevey thought it was a bit of a two-dimensional colour, and he thought gold would be good, but gold was very difficult to get in the 70s around the Bridge, and they went for the yellow to lift it. So we all know the colour that this band gets the reputation for. It was Father McAlevey who picked them colours. The first chairman is here tonight, was Emmett, sitting down there. He's back on the committee as a worker on the lotto team. Emmett had Joe Bailey as an assistant. John McGowan was treasurer. Assistant treasurer was Claire Bailey. Molly Rooney was the secretary. That's Sean Rooney's mother, the county chairman. And Jerry O'Hare from St Anne's Park was the assistant to that. And of them office bearers, there's only 2 people still alive. One is Claire Bailey, and I think our fellow's still kicking down. He's the only other one still alive. But the rest of the committee that was nominated that night, it's if you look at the amount of people that have connections in that meeting and still have connections to this band is unbelievable. The first person on the working committee was Karen Soy's grandmother, Mary Soy. Amazing. She was up there at the start. With Lena Burns, Joe Fagan, Jimmy McNamee, Michael Goss, Kathleen Fagan, Stephen McGee, Jerome White, Jerry Quinn, and my own father, John Lively. They formed the committee that night, and the first band practice was on the 20th of September 1977. And 96 young people queued outside the door to get in. Could you imagine that, news? 90. We had 20 queuing to get in the door one day, fantastic. 96 queued to get in. And as Gillian said a few months later, on the 28th of May, 84 of them were still there and went down to Chapel Hill in their first parade. The Chapel Hill wasn't like it looks now. There was no houses, there was a school, but there was no houses. It was just fields and ditches, because I remember, because I was taking the bus from that day. So that journey began, a long journey, which we're still on 40 years later. But that band was a novice band. They played very simple stuff. And they were going into competitions with big bands, like Drumgaff, Addicole, Clonduff, Kilcoon, Points Pass, Killock. There's bands everywhere. But they went to the competitions and they thought they always got beat. But as time went on, they got better. And their first big outing was on St Patrick's Day in 1979 in Dublin. And they enjoyed it that much, they went back in 1980 and did St Patrick's Day again in 1980. We did it in 2013, and some people are saying it'll be in all 33 years where we do it, because it was a brutal, tough parade. But they did it, and they kept working. And they kept working, and in 1984, they thought there was a chance they were arming the flag. And they did go to the flag, and they won the All-Ireland Junior Marching Band competition in Nolan Park in Kilkenny. They were a good band, I've heard them. I think Brendan and Caroline were involved at that time. But they were doing very well, and they were winning competitions locally. Their next big outing was in 1986. They all went to the Isle of Man. Now, as Gillian has sort of indicated, it was a great trip. Wasn't it, Caroline and Brendan? Brilliant trip. We'll not go into that detail of that, but they did very well. It was the World Championship Band competitions. Where did you come?
Second.
Second in the World Band Championships. And looking at all the history that's written down, and I looked at the Isle of Man notes, and it's very interesting that a few weeks ago, this young lady, Clarice, was in the Miss All-Ireland final 5. We had Emer in the Down Rose there lately, but I found out that Caroline came 3rd in the Carnival Festival Queen in Douglas, the Isle of Man. Is that correct? I have to say, you give it a good rattle even yet, Caroline. But the 80s it was a good time for the band. They were doing well, very strong. But whenever you read the notes, the names come out at you, who was doing the work behind the scenes, of the same people. Caroline Morgan, who's now Caroline Grant, Finian Sands, Mary Sands, Joan McGee, Joan Killen is Emer's mother. James Morgan was in the band at that time. Paddy McGill, Betty McGill, Moira Fagan, nobody forget Moira, Bridget Taggart, Joan Taggart, Stevie Taggart, Dolores O'Hare, Mary McGee, Libby Turley, Nuala Mola, Tommy McGee, the bus driver. Every time you see something with Tommy McGee, was in brackets, bus driver, because Tommy drove the buses everywhere for them. Peter McGee, Leo Turley, Edmund Kelly, Patsy Rooney, Rosalie Moore, and they were the people who worked tirelessly to keep the whole thing going. But as time went on and the 80s started to come to an end, the band started to drift off. They peaked and they started to drop off a wee bit. But the names of Caroline Morgan and Finian Sands were still very much in the fore. I think that's the time whenever Finian started the Bridge Band Bingo. The Bridge Band Bingo morphed itself into the Mayobridge Lotto. And that is our current financial lifeblood we have today. So the little things that were done, even in quiet times, are secured our future today. So at the end of the 80s, I think there was 20 people in the band total. It was getting tough. Finian, George Sands and a few others decided they needed a new musical instructor. And they advertised the post. And the man that answered it was Enda King. Enda King was one of the most accomplished accordion players I had the pleasure to meet. He was a very gifted man, very much into traditional music and very much into flat. Enda started to build the band back up from the early 90s with people from South Armagh, Louth, parts of South Down, and he worked for 8 years and he eventually cracked it in 1997 when they just got beat in the final of the All-Ireland final. But he went back the next year, 98, and won the second junior All-Ireland final in Ballina. The next year, they won the senior All-Ireland in 1999, and in the subsequent years, they won another 5 seniors. That was a very, very busy time for the band. They did a lot of big things then. They went to Canada in 1999 and played in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Toronto. They appeared on Breakfast TV, Toronto. Then they went to the Late Late Show with Pat Kenny and S Club 7. They then played for Bertie Ahern at government buildings at Christmas. Then they went to the residence in the Phoenix Park with the Irish President, Mary McAleese, entertained them for a day. So as it was very busy times, the flowers were taking a lot of time up, and as it came to the end of sort of 2006, 2007, it started to dip again. And the flowers didn't have the same, appeal or whatever it was, and the new committee came in, and they asked the question, why do we play so hard and practice all year for 3 people in an arena where we can't video nothing, we can't show people how good we are. And whenever you're in competition, you don't play all your competition stuff on the parade. You play not the good stuff on the parade. So we asked the question, why don't we start playing to the public instead of for 3 adjudicators? The new committee came in and asked that question, and they changed the band to a format of a parade band. That's when Eunice came in. Eunice Downing is a very, very talented woman, and she's got a very, very talented family. And she is a woman who turned into this modern band we have today. And we started that change in 2010. It was at the same time that social media really started to come into fore. I checked on our site 3 nights ago. From 2010 until last January, we have been actually watched by 6.8 million people across the world.
Wow.
So it's a modern band, and I'm just going to finish with some of the highlights that we've done recently, and some of the comments that the public have written, not the judges, the public, not the locals, these are strangers who have written this stuff. I think the parade in Dublin in 2013 was a fantastic achievement for us because we led the Dublin St Patrick's Day, the day that it was the year of the gathering. 6,000 international visitors followed us down on Collins Street. It was a tough parade, but it was well worth it. The Rose of Tralee, we've been there for the last 8 years. We've led it for 5 years. Last year I think was an extremely great trip and getting the Tuesday night parade as well. We still do the festivals locally because the people around this area, they're our people. Whenever we go to these big festivals all over the place, we always remember the Erie Week, we always remember Mickey's Day down there, we always do the Maiden Lords, the Fiddler's Queen, because they're our people. We do our own stuff because that attracts young ones, the local young ones really into it. The Down County Board, these last 7 years, have used us for the Down County final, and this year the Ulster GAA Council has appointed us as one of the championship bands, and as we all know, we've got a massive job to do this Sunday in Park Hessler. So, the most recent trip we did was in London, and it was a trip that I did not think would have been anything to outshadow what we did before, but I was amazed and I couldn't believe the London parade. The amount of people that were out watching that, the amount of people who have Irish extraction were there, some with tears in their faces to see real Irish people doing their parade for them. We led it down Piccadilly, into Trafalgar, down into Whitehall. I'll never forget it. I've been a man a long time, and I think it was the most unbelievable experience that I've had. Now, some of the people who seen that were strangers, and these comments are coming from, I'm going to finish with this, these are the comments that come from strangers who do not know who we are. Some of them maybe, but some not. Here's a guy from Surrey, a guy called Stephen Roberts. He wrote this on one of the videos we put up. This band is the best marching band that I have ever witnessed in a parade. I have absolutely no Irish connections, but during the St Patrick's Day parade in London, I was sitting in a cafe near the Ritz in Piccadilly. I heard the parade coming down the street, and I went to watch, and I was so impressed with this band. I followed them the whole way to Whitehall. They're from County Down in Ireland, that's all I knew. As a stranger, that's not no judge in an arena, as a member of the public. Kevin McCauley, who I know, is from Strangford. I've seen Mayobridge Band many times. Over the past few years, they are the most professional run outfit. For a parade, they have everything: the colour, the music, and the youth. A friend of mine who lives in London was a steward at the St Patrick's Day parade. She said they never stopped playing fantastic uplifting music the whole length of the parade route. He says, I know the GAA are starting to use them for championship games. Long overdue, I say. The Down Rose Centre, we're so lucky to have a band like this, talented as they are. Watch them play in Tralee every year and delighted the support they give to the Down Rose Centre. Now next ones are some comments from around the world that were reacting to the videos from London. A lady called Wayne McCampbell. Mayobridge have done themselves proud in London, watching from Vancouver in Canada. This one's closer to home. This is, I think, Ciara Quinn, whatever her married name is now. Ciara says, what I wouldn't give to be playing with that band again. From Josephine O'Hare, so proud. Oh, be proud, be very, very proud. You are all great Irish ambassadors. Michelle Branch from Surrey. Wow, what a great band. So great to see the Irish. Margaret Lacoste in Los Angeles. Thanks for sharing. Watching in the US. Brilliant performance. Bernadette Shevlin. Love to go to London and march the way you used to. So proud. girl called Ciara Quinn, trainer, don't know who she is. Good Irish band showing in London how it's done. Brilliant performance. Patricia Hines is another lady. Well done. You've done yourselves in Ireland proud. Mary Lee. And she says she's Mary Lee Coulter. I assume it's a son relative from Mayobridge. Mary Lee, watching from Chicago. Wow, you've made my St. Patrick's weekend an absolutely beautiful performance. Never missed a beat. Fantastic performance. Well done, Mayobridge and Mary and family in Chicago, in Illinois, USA. Here's one that a lot of people felt whenever they watched the videos from Leona Doyle, and she just says goosebumps. A lot of people are very emotional when they see that, and that summed up a lot of people's reaction to it. But the one that sort of stands out for me and sticks in my head is a guy from north of London, a guy called Eugene Phillips. Eugene Phillips says, I'm not into accordion bands, but that was amazing. So you guys have a talent. I don't think you realise the talent you have, but you keep working. We'll keep at you, we'll keep you going, but you do have to keep the work up, because this is what the public is talking about. This isn't judges in score or flat. This is the public. And the test of the public is, do they want you back? Currently, we're booked out all summer. I've been in the band a long time, and this is the best band I've ever worked with, this current band. So keep up the good work. I'm now going to hand you over to a young lady who has been the chairperson for 2 years. And I'm very proud to say it's my daughter, Colleen Pope.
I get a wee bit shaky when I have to speak in front of you all, so bear with me. First of all, I'd like to thank Gillian and Newry District Council for inviting us here this evening. We're honoured to have a civic reception in celebration of our 40th anniversary. The band has worked tirelessly all through the 40 years, and especially more so than the past, I'd say 7-8 years, when it's really come to become a professional organisation where we don't play for flair, we play to entertain the crowd, which is what a band should be about. But this is just the beginning. I think there's brighter things to come. For the band's 25th Jubilee, a book was released called The Dreamer of Dreams. This book was co-written by Gary, aka Seamus, the Chief, and the late great Jerry Quinn. Jerry Quinn was a dedicated member of this committee for many years, longer than I've been in it. And I find it would be a fitting tribute to finish tonight by quoting an extract that he had written that always stood out to me, not only as a member of the band, but on a personal level too. So in the words of Jerry Quinn, we would like to thank all the individuals who gave their time unselfishly to the welfare of the band over the years. Without these people who came together in the Parochial Hall in 1977, and those who continued the work, there would never have been a band. Sadly, some of them are no longer with us, and each of them are a huge loss to this band and our community. And whilst we celebrate our past successes, let us never forget those who did so much to get us where we are today. Thank you.
I'm now going to ask, before I present Seamus with the colleague, I'm going to ask Liz to come up and say a few words. I've been told she wants to say a few words.
First of all, can I say I think Mayobridge Band is amazing as well. But you have, I'm definitely a #1 fan in Gillian, and Gillian talks about you and everything that's in Mayobridge worldwide, because she's never off this media. I just want to say on my own behalf, and I'm sure I speak for the boys down below in relation to the photographs and what we done and what we didn't do, that the year has been amazing, Gillian. I have never enjoyed working with somebody as much as I have with this lady here. She is amazing. She doesn't realise just how amazing she has been for Newry and Mourne and Down District Council, and not only for them, but for all of us and for this area, because her enthusiasm, her sincerity, the ability she has to get up and make a speech wherever she is and just get to the heart of what was going on at that. I stood back in amazement at it. I'm going to miss you. I don't know how we're going to get through the next year. We have a new chairperson and I would feel very sorry for her having to come on to your shoes, follow your shoes. It won't be possible. I think you're absolutely fabulous and I think she deserves a massive round of applause.
It's just in recognition of your 40 years and this, I don't know where you keep trophies or whatever, but it's something for you to keep. And I think it's really class because I'm from Mayobridge doing this, so you know. This is what I deal with every day. She loves it. And I just very to be distracted, so. Yeah. Do a group workout shortly.
Go on. Get the near field of your boss.
Who, me?